Well, hello there, and thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog. I'm Pete Howard, and this is a very famous San Francisco concert poster. It's nicknamed Zig-Zag Man. Sounds like a good nickname to me. It's the very beginning of the summer of 1966, and I guess the most historical angle on this poster is the fact that not even by most accounts, I would say by 51% of the accounts, this was Janis Joplin's very first gig with Big Brother and the Holding Company. If you Google it, you'll find 5 different dates given, but I found some good site that took all of those dates together and crunched them and came up with the fact that this is most likely the starting point for Janis with Big Brother. So right there, it's an important poster, right? Well, the image, though, is what's killer about this. Along with, like, the Grateful Dead Skull and Roses, these two are probably the most famous and endearing of all the Family Dog posters and images, because Mouse and Kelly, the poster artists, just took it right off of, obviously, rolling papers, which were huge in the mid-60s everywhere, not just San Francisco, but especially progressive San Francisco. And they took the image off of Zig-Zag rolling papers, and, you know, I think I even read somewhere that other poster artists were saying, "Oh man, why didn't we think of that? It's so obvious. What a great concert poster." So, but it's funny because Mouse and Kelly knew they were stealing a current and relevant image, unlike the Skull and Roses, which was a 125-year-old, you know, obscure library book drawing. This was, everybody knows right away, instant recognition. We call that building a brand today, but apparently the Zig-Zag paper people just felt it was great advertising for them, fit right into the community. Why bother suing and making a bad name for yourself? So, but it's funny, Mouse and Kelly, obviously it's easier to apologize afterwards than get permission ahead of time. I think they did neither, but that's okay. It worked for everybody, a very symbiotic relationship. But Mouse and Kelly gave an homage to that at the bottom when they put, "What you don't know about copying and duplicating won't hurt you." Interesting. Well, guess what? Mouse and Kelly were the victims of copying and duplicating too. This was a wildly popular image. Even people who had no interest in Big Brother, didn't want to go to the show, got a poster and put it up on the wall. Hippie crash pads all over the place, telephone poles and everything. So it's really hard to find one without tape marks and tack holes and all that stuff. But more importantly, this is a first printing before the show to sell tickets. I should mention it was printed in both silver and gold. And I just have a gold one to show you here, but picture all the gold you see also in silver. That's a legitimate before concert first printing. But what I was going to say is the image is so popular that well, where should I go? I have a lot of different thoughts to say about this. Mouse and Kelly actually got worried. They got scared right after the show, and they felt that they were going to be approached by copyright authorities and busted for using this image. So Mouse told a friend of mine they actually left town for a couple days right after the show, worried they were going to knock on their apartment door or something. But then they came back to town, and everybody said, "What are you so uptight about? Don't worry, it's fine." They just went up to Marin County, above San Francisco. So, you know, we're just so hip to copyright infringement here in the 21st century, but back then it was all cool, man, right? It was all really loose and all that stuff. So, but anyway, it's easy to tell the second and third printings on this, because just like Skull and Roses, this is FD14. So like Skull and Roses, there's a real easy marker that says 14 parentheses 2 underneath Bill Ham, the light show guy's name, and a 14 parentheses 3 for the third printing under Bill Ham, the light show guy's name. So that makes it really easy to spot second and thirds. However, those are the legitimate Bill Graham printed second and thirds. What about the bootlegs? This was the first Family Dog, and maybe the first BG, I'm not sure. Definitely the first Family Dog poster ever pirated, and boy did they jump on it. The pirates bootlegged this right after the show. I mean, you know, not that night, but within probably days or certainly weeks, there were total counterfeits available at the head shops and poster stores, because everybody wanted the poster. So it's kind of funny, those first counterfeits are actually somewhat a little bit collectible in their own right, and I have one here to show you, which is pretty clean mint one. This is a illegitimate pirate copy of Zig-Zag Man from not long after the show, and it's so cool and collectible in its own right that Kelly and Mouse signed this copy and didn't mind doing so, which is pretty wild. But one way to tell the pirates is this Family Dog logo up in the corner. That's really it's either blue or it's white. There's very little shading or gradation, especially around the Indian smoking the cigarette with a top hat. On either side, there's just like white areas there. Well, on the legitimate first, seconds, and thirds, it's just more defined, that Family Dog logo there. You can see, well, the guy himself is better defined, and there's blue in the area on either side of his hair there. So that's one way you can really spot the counterfeits. And again, the counterfeits, the originals, are kind of collectible too, but believe me, it's been printed a lot since then. And one more story, fabled story about this poster is that when the counterfeiters started selling them around town, bootlegging and selling them, promoter Chet Helms of the Family Dog got really upset, and so did Kelly and Mouse, and so they ran around to some of the head shops, and they had a rubber stamp that says genuine counterfeit, and stamped that on a lot of the posters, and then the guys running the head shops would kick them out, and they got away with doing a few. So it'd be really neat to see one of those, wouldn't it? Oh, okay, well sure, you want to see one of those? Okay, well here we have a bootleg of Zig-Zag Man. This one is toned by the sun, but it's the exact same poster I just showed you, but it has got down at the bottom, rubber stamp there, can you see that? Genuine counterfeit, isn't that wild? And these things with the genuine counterfeit stamp are really collectible too, because obviously Helms and Mouse and Kelly touched them and worked them over. It's all part of the poster scene in San Francisco. What a great iconic poster and a great image. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.